Hi everybody, this is Carolina Carner. Okay, so here's another tech tool that I absolutely love for any kind of learning, but especially for distance learning. Edpuzzle is by far one of my favorites. Why is it one of my favorites? I'll tell you. You can put in videos from Khan Academy, YouTube. You can get them from anywhere, National Geographic, TED Talks. And then basically what you can do is through Edpuzzle, you can pause the video, add questions, make sure the students are watching the segments, collect formative assessment data. While students are learning new information, it could be a review of information. It's just awesome. And if you were going to take it for a grade, it'll actually grade the quizzes that you guys put in there, or you could just use it, like I said, as formative assessment data to see if you're not taking it for a grade, where your students are at. Like, do they really understand the content that they're watching, and are they watching the actual video? Because like sometimes when you play a video for the warm-up over something that you studied in class, kids are zoning out, not really paying attention. But with Edpuzzle, it makes them stop, answer questions, and then proceed through the video. So you can also, get this, you can also videotape your own lessons and then add questions to make sure that the students are stopping, pausing, reflecting, answering questions, and moving on to the next step. And if you're doing distance learning right now, videotape yourself doing a lesson. Make it into an Edpuzzle. Have the students stop, answer questions through the lesson. If you can't teach them one-on-one right now at the moment because of distance learning, you can go ahead and do it through this process to make sure that they're really understanding the content as they go through. And if they aren't understanding the content that you have them doing with the Edpuzzle, you can reach out to them and then set up a conference time so that you can talk about the questions that they're missing. So have fun watching me go through how to make an Edpuzzle quiz that you can utilize with your students. Edpuzzle will sync up with Google Classroom as well, and it will give the assignment to all your students, and it will also, depending on what kind of Edpuzzle quiz you give, it will grade assignments for you, or you can have open-ended answer choices, which you can go in and physically mark as right or wrong. But this is another amazing tool that you can put into Google Classroom that will actually grade for you. Okay, why do I love Edpuzzle so much? Well, there are tons and tons of quizzes and learning content that teachers have already made that you can use in your classroom. You can also make your own Edpuzzle activities and check for understanding as your students progress through the Edpuzzle. So basically, it's just a video that you plop in there from like YouTube, Khan Academy, National Geographic, TED Talks, or Crash Course is another one that's super amazing. But you can go in, and as a teacher, you can assign questions to make sure that the students are not skipping through the material and they're actually watching each part of the lesson. Then you're checking for understanding with each question. And then if you see that students are struggling on the Gradebook page, you can actually look at the students' responses, and I'll show that to you here in a second. But you can see how they're doing, and you can reach out to them and talk to them about their misconceptions they have about the material, or if they get 100 on anything that they've done, then you know that they're ready for some sort of an extension activity. So let me go ahead and show you the curriculum portion of this. You can pick elementary, middle school, or high school. I'm going to pick middle school because that's the area that I'm in. These are all the different content areas they have separated by category. I would, of course, pick science, but it's awesome to see math and ELA on here as well. Okay, from this area right here, I'm going to pick life science, and then I'm going to pick, since we're studying cells right now, I'm going to go ahead and pick cells, and then I'm going to go to prokaryotes and eukaryotes, and then I'm going to click on animal cells. So we can look at a quiz that a teacher has already made. I believe this is with Crash Course. These are all questions the teacher has put in. You can see that this is actually a multiple choice activity. That's pretty awesome. So at the end of this, you should have a grade as a result, but you don't have to take it for a grade. You could just see how the kids did on this and then adjust your instruction based off of what you see the data say. So on here, the kids would just play the video.
This is an animal, and this is also an
You
animal.
can make it to where kids cannot skip through
animal cart.
the content. But when it's in the teacher view, you can obviously progress through there so you can stop and see the first question.
A true kernel in the Greek, a good nucleus.
Okay. So this is the first question that they have on there. What structure is required to be a eukaryotic cell? So that you know, if you don't know anything about science content, that's going to be a nucleus. Okay, you can make it to where they can't skip. They can rewatch it if they need to rewatch the segment if they don't understand the material, but then hit submit. Okay, and then that one was correct. So I'm going to go on to the next question. You would hit continue.
Not contains the DNA
and this is what it looks like from the student view while they're progressing through.
Organelles. There's a bunch of different kinds of organelles, and they all have very specific functions. And all this is organelles that allow them to make their...
I would highly suggest that if you're going to use another teacher's Edpuzzle, that you go through and you vet all of the answers just to make sure that the answers are correct, because I have found some Edpuzzles that have had incorrect answer choices before. So it's great to have ready-made resources that other teachers have made, but you know, we're all tired from time to time and sometimes we make mistakes. So I would just check it, and then you can, if you're ready to use it and you know this is a great Edpuzzle, then you can just assign it. If you want to tweak it and make it your own, maybe you don't want as many questions, you want 10 instead of how many ever are on here, you can shorten the amount of the video that you want to do. Like if I don't want to show as much, I can cut the video. Yes, cut and delete this video event. No, don't cut and keep the video event. So I'm going to say I want to cut it, because I don't want to show as much of the video. That's one wonderful, awesome thing that you can do. You can talk over certain parts of the video if you want to give the kids a little bit more information. Maybe the video doesn't have enough information about something. You can do a voiceover. You can also add your own questions to a video that somebody has already added questions to if you're using this from another teacher. So just as an example, you could put multiple choice. You could put open-ended. What was the tip that I taught you in class to help you remember the function of the mitochondria? So then my kids would be able to answer this open-ended question. And as soon as you see that you've got your new question added onto the quiz that you want to have, remember you can add open-ended questions or you can use multiple choice on here. And then you would just hit assign. And then the beautiful thing about Edpuzzle is it pairs well with Google Classroom, and all you have to do is click on these specific class periods that I want to use, put a due date. I would definitely click prevent skipping because you want to make sure that the kids watch the entire thing. Let me put a due date, save. You can turn on closed captions and then post on Google Classroom. And then you can do it later or you can assign right now, and I'm going to go ahead and assign it. And then it's ready for you to look at in the Gradebook. Now, speaking of the Gradebook, if I'm looking at this and I'm looking, I can see how much of the video the students have watched, so I can go back and tell the student that they've only watched 90% of the video. They need to make sure that they watch 100%. Okay, I can click on the person's activity and I can see which question they didn't answer. So it's like just this particular activity, I had them do open-ended, and I just scroll through all of their answer choices to see how they're doing. And usually what I'll do is if I see that they didn't do well on a particular question, I'll pull them over to my desk and we can conference about it. You could contact a student if they weren't doing well on a particular quiz and discuss what misconceptions they had with the material to get them back on the right track. And if you had a kid that made 100% on something, then you can provide them with an extension activities. All right, this is one of the best things about distance learning with your students, or even utilizing Edpuzzle in the classroom, is you can record yourself doing a lab or a lesson or reading through content. You can upload it as a video, and then you can actually go in and make sure that the students are reading the information by adding questions. Like I said, you can do multiple choice, or you can do open-ended, and then you can make sure that the kids don't skip through the different sections and they have to stop and then add an answer, and then you can view their results on the My Classes tab. You can actually look and see what their responses were. So I'm going to show you how I just uploaded this video. I went to upload a video, choose a file, and then I went and I clicked on the activity that I wanted, artificial organ 80, things that I learned from the video, and then here it is right here at the bottom of the screen, showing you that I've uploaded it. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my content, and this is my video right here. So I'm going to go through and play.
You have just completed the things I learned from the video section, where you wrote down 2 things that you learned from watching the introductory video to the artificial organ 80E.
Okay, so on this little activity right here, I'm reading through this section. I could pause at every single one of these vocabulary words, and I could have the students add a question. So I'm going to go ahead and hit edit. I want to cut off this first part where I'm just talking.
The information you were backward. You want periodic, complex works in harmony with harmony. The division of the labor works well because you have after watching the video. Now we are going to do a section where you have to read through the information, and a section where you have to read through the information, and then you are going to have
to
type
so this is where I want to start my questions.
From the reading.
Okay, and I want to go ahead and put in my first question. Let me keep playing it to where I can find out where I want to stop it.
I'm going to go ahead and read through the information in the passage. Feel free to pause the video at any time if you want to start typing up notes. So here we go. Many organisms are kept alive by dividing the work to maintain homeostasis across multiple parts of their body. These are called multicellular, many-celled organisms.
Okay, I want to add a question right there. So I'm going to go ahead and put an open-ended question, and I'm going to put, what does multicellular mean? Remember, I made this lesson. I'm pausing it where I want to. The kids are reading the information because, you know, sometimes kids don't want to read things. So the kids are reading through the information. I'm going to put this question in here, and then they have the opportunity to answer the question.
The division of the labor works well because each part has a specific job that works in harmony with all the other parts. This ordering of parts and jobs is sometimes referred to as levels of organization, and the smallest part or level is the cell.
Okay, I want to add another question right there. What is a cell? And I want to do this as another open-ended question, but like I said, you can change it and make it into multiple choice. So you can put a note, but I like open-ended. Okay, and then there's where the question would appear. So you can keep going, and then once you get done, you can hit finish. And like I said, oh my gosh, as soon as you finish, you can go ahead and you can assign it to your class. And this is something that I created. I videotaped myself reading through this material. You can do a lab, you can pause it after different segments. I just love Edpuzzle. I really love Edpuzzle, and it is so great to just use in a regular classroom, especially if you're trying to differentiate with your students, to provide remediation if your students need it, or to provide an extension. But it's an awesome, awesome tool for distance learning.